Hi, I'm Matt with Main Street Medina. Welcome to another edition of Medina Minute. Today we're going to sit down and talk with a few friends from around town and learn about their stories and their business. Come on in and join me. Dan, thank you so much for joining me today here at Honeybee Bakery. It's a pleasure to have you join our little talk show, and we want to learn more about you.
Absolutely. Well, I truly appreciate it, Matt.
Sure. So, Firestorm Gear, I want to start with your store because I want to try to figure out Dan the man a little bit.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit, if you would, about Firestorm Gear, how long you've had the store, and kind of what is your focus in the business?
Absolutely. So, I've had the store, it's going on roughly about 5 years now.
Okay.
I started it off initially as just an online business. I used to work for Baldwin Wallace University. Worked there for probably about 15, 16 years.
What did you do there?
I was in IT. I was actually a network administrator.
Oh, wow, cool.
So I worked with probably 4,000 different people a day.
No kidding. Wow.
But yeah, so it was you know, it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I started branching out and looking at what else I could do.
Okay.
And reached out to a couple different universities and businesses and looked at government jobs and things like that. And eventually I sat down with my wife and we were talking about things that I'd like to go forward with. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, what do you like? And I said, well, I like outdoor and I like shooting sports and things like that.
Yeah.
And she said, well, why don't you do something with that? And I said, well, it's really hard to get in that kind of business.
Yes.
And she said, well, if you can't get in the business, start your own business. So I thought, okay,
Smart
I'll give it
wife.
a shot.
Yeah.
So I started off, I just live south of the square, so
Okay.
I just started it off in my home. Started doing some trade shows and things like that. It took off relatively quickly. Opened a store down by Walgreens.
Okay.
And it was actually in the plaza, not behind, but it doesn't matter, across the street from Walgreens.
Sure.
But that took off. I thought it was going to take quite a while. I thought I would still be building after 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And it took off like wildfire, like a firestorm, if you will. Yeah. But it was something that I was always interested in doing. I was not aware how quickly it would have grown.
Okay.
So when the opportunity became available to move into the Raymond building, we jumped at the opportunity to do so, and it was fantastic.
You brought up a question. Where did you get the name of the store? How did you come up with Firestorm Gear?
It's a funny story. So my wife and I sat down, because originally I was going to call it Medina Tactical Supply.
Okay.
I would always have a presence in Medina. Medina is my hometown. Well, it's not where I was born, but it's my adopted hometown.
Okay.
I could not see having a business anywhere else but Medina.
Oh, wow.
So it's something that we have a very close relationship with the city. And the only thing that if it ever did branch out, and we did move to, did open up different locations, Medina Tactical Supply kind of limits you to where you can open them.
That's true. Good point.
So that was my wife's idea, not mine. She's the thought process. So she was looking through a bunch of different things. We were bouncing stuff off each other, and she was looking up just words online.
Yeah.
And she came across the Firestorm, and I went, that's kind of cool. So it's literally just by happenstance that we just happened to come across the name.
You said Medina is your adopted hometown. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Brook Park, Ohio.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep,
Just up the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah.
How did you end up in Medina then?
It was something that we moved down here when I was a kid. I was just in ninth grade. We moved down here.
Yeah.
And my parents have lived down here ever since. And it's something that when we moved down here, obviously it wasn't the Medina it is today.
Right.
It was much smaller. That was 25 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's something that that is, it's obviously a different town than it was then, but
Right.
No matter how much it grows, no matter how much it changes, which is good, I still call it my adopted hometown, and I love it.
That's really cool. So Firestorm Gear, Medina Tactical, what exactly do you have in the store?
Absolutely. So what we do is we do tactical, outdoor, survival, firearms. We deal a lot with police and military.
Okay.
So I do deal with Medina Police and Montville Police and the Sheriff's Office and a number of different government agencies. And the reason I got into the business initially was because a lot of places were not. I know what things cost, and I know what people are charging.
Yeah.
And I said that's not fair.
Okay.
I'm willing to take and give our local police and other police departments around the area the equipment they need and that they deserve to keep our town safe, our city safe, and at the prices that they deserve. So with police equipment and things like that, I make very, very little, in some cases no profit. Mm-hmm. But it's a win-win-win situation. Yeah. In the sense that I win, that I have I gain a loyal customer. It's just, it's obviously a sales tactic.
Sure, absolutely.
But I also win in the sense that I know that my town has better equipment to keep everyone safe. Yeah. So it makes me feel better.
In the store, you have outdoor supply and the, I don't know if it's actually called freeze-dried food,
absolutely,
but the prepackaged food.
Absolutely.
In many ways, Firestorm Gear almost picked up naturally when Whitey's closed.
Correct.
Because you carry a lot of things that Debbie and Jim used to have inside of Whitey's.
Exactly.
So did you pick up some of that client base as well, the customer base?
I did. Okay. I did. And actually, Debbie happens to be a family friend of ours.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Very cool.
And so a lot of people come in and say, oh, you're a lot like Whitey's in a sense. We are, but we aren't. There's nothing that's going to replace Whitey's. Whitey's was absolutely a staple of the Medina Society.
Yes, it was.
It's something that everybody comes in and goes, oh, I thought you were located at the old Whitey's location. And it's like, well, I would have loved to have been, but cool. It would have been, right now we're kind of, given a normal situation, obviously we're not in normal situations anymore, I'd probably be busting at the seams. Yeah. We did it in a sense that we said we're kind of like Whitey's to that extra step, kind of like Whitey's on steroids in a sense. We don't offer everything that Whitey's did. I don't think anybody's going to be able to offer everything that Whitey's did, but we come real close.
How did you, tell me a little bit about growing up. Like, were you in the Boy Scouts? Were you pretending you were an Indian and out camping all the time? How did you get into tactical gear and firearms and that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. So it's something that, it wasn't something that I necessarily grew up with. Okay. It was something that I got into probably in my teens. It was, family things where we go out and basically just, go out to have a family function or go out and just say, hey, we're going to go do some plinking or anything like that. And it kind of took hold. I tried many other sports, golf and football and all these different sports, and I'm horrible at all of them. God awful. It's really bad. But when it came to shooting, it's more than just the sport. It's because when you use a baseball bat, you go out, you use your baseball bat, you put it away. What difference does it make? Right. When you use a firearm or any type of outdoor, a lot of outdoor supplies, I should say, it takes maintenance. It's not just something that you're going to stick into a box and stick back in the closet. And I've always kind of had a keen eye for like cleaning and making sure that things are maintained perfectly. Yeah. So it was just right up my alley, essentially.
Very cool. Growing up, my father used to repair guns and do the bluing and everything and fix them. And I was always fascinated how he was able to take it completely apart, put it in the tanks of lye or whatever was in there, clean it and put it back together. I just thought it was so cool.
Absolutely.
So are you a big hunter and fisher? Are you game sports or more just like rifle practice and target shooting and stuff?
I am not a hunter, and that's it's something that I'm more of a target shooter. Okay. I tell people, paper better look out for me because I'm coming for it. As far as hunting, I'm not much of a hunter. I don't have anything against it necessarily, obviously, but I'm not a hunter simply because of the fact that I don't have the time for it.
How much of your day is devoted to your business?
Probably, and this is honestly probably no joke, between 80 to 85% of my day.
Yeah. Do you ever have time to just relax and like take a trip or sit down and read a book? Or what do you do to check out and just block out?
It's a great question. I've had several customers ask me the same question, in the sense that, oh, you don't take vacations, you're always here, you know what I mean? My thought is, I'm doing what I love.
Okay.
And it's true, the old saying when they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
True, yeah.
And I am doing what I absolutely love.
That's really cool.
I have no problem coming in on weekends. I have no problem, because I've built it to what I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a job, it's not work, it is an extension of myself.
Yeah. And your family works there as well, right?
Absolutely. So my mom and dad work there. They're both retired. It keeps them from killing each other. It happens.
I mean, if it got to that point, they're kind of working in the right place.
I've had my nephew work with me. I've had my sister and my brother-in-law work with me.
Mm-hmm.
So they are. It's a family relationship in a sense that they want to be part of it, from a perspective of they want to help.
Yeah.
I have not paid myself yet. I do not pay my parents.
Yeah.
I'm taking all of the profits that I'm making and rolling it back into the business.
That's cool.
To make sure that I can build the business even bigger, to
Yeah.
allow I don't want to become too big that I can't talk with people, I can't
Right.
communicate with
Right.
people. But I want to be able to build a business in the sense that I can provide everybody with the things that they would like to see. And until I can get to that point where I feel that we're comfortable doing so, I will probably still not pay myself anything yet.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
it's a heavy investment, but
Yeah, I bet.
especially again in this time,
Right now, yeah.
it's tough.
If it ever did happen that all of a sudden you had a week off, you were able to close the shop, everything was fine, what would be your dream vacation? Or would it just be, I would just close the shop and spend a week there?
I would. So, my job is my life. It always has been. But my wife is very, very. She loves to take vacations,
Okay.
and I would not want to keep her from being able to do that.
Yeah.
We have been to Europe twice. I doubt that we have the money to do so again, nor in
Sure.
these conditions. But under perfect conditions, I would say I would love to go back to Europe.
What's your favorite place that you visited?
Germany.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about that?
We were at the in southern Germany. It's the picture perfect environment.
Yeah.
I mean, you could not imagine a more beautiful place. But the history behind it, the quaint villages, the things that you don't normally find in the United States.
Sure.
And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's different.
It's different.
But yeah, absolutely.
What's one place that you want to go in Europe that you haven't yet?
My wife would love to go to Italy. I would love to go to Switzerland.
Okay, cool.
Both of which, like I said, are pretty much unattainable right now since
Right.
I'm not paying myself anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would be the two places we probably want to go.
Do you, in your rare off time, do you collect anything or have any hobbies? Or is it, I'm getting the sense that you are, this is my business, this is my life.
Yes, in a sense, yes. I used to, obviously I was a gun collector before. A lot of, and with most business owners, they do the same thing. When you start a new business, a lot of the things that you collected, or a lot of the things that you've put time and effort and money into, sometimes you have to get rid of in order to pursue bigger and better things.
Right.
A large amount of my collection that I have sold over the years in order to further pursue the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I'm not a huge collector of things. I guess you could say, of anything, I like to collect memories.
Collect memories?
Memories, yep.
Very cool.
So,
okay.
Yep, having those special times to be able to spend with family and friends.
Yeah, it's really cool. You said earlier, Dan, that Medina is your adopted hometown. What is it about this community that made you feel that way?
It is, before I had the business, we we just felt this is a hometown.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look behind us, it's absolutely fantastic. It's the picture perfect view.
Right.
But it's not just a facade. It's the true definition of a hometown.
Yeah.
It's something that my wife and I both have looked at and said, I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Cool.
We've traveled, we've gone multiple places all over the United States. But it's always, that's the one thing that I tell people is that you know you're in the right place when, no matter where you go, it's always good to come home.
Sure.
And it's always good to come back to Medina.
Yeah.
Since having the business, we've obviously opened up relationships with local government and police, and it's just further blossomed that. It's something that we have gained relationships that, regardless of whether I had the business or not, I cherish.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
I'm curious, do you have a favorite building on the square or in town?
I do, and believe it or
Which one is it?
believe it or not, it's the building that the Whitey's Army Navy was in.
Okay.
It's supposedly the oldest building on the square.
It is.
And it did not burn when the Medina fire happened. So
Yeah.
it's just, I think from a historical standpoint, because I'm kind of a history buff,
Okay.
from a historical standpoint, it really kind of rings true, that you can see part of the original Medina
Yeah.
in a building like that.
Yeah, the original building, 1823, Federal style building. And at one time we were doing some research, and apparently it's let me get this right, the 7th oldest public building standing in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
Which is cool because when you look at our square, most people think of it as a Victorian town. They kind of forget that whole 70, 80 years before it became this. You know?
Exactly.
I'm curious, Dan, if you had the opportunity, a different kind of a trip. You're a history buff. Is there a time period in which you would like to go back and visit or be part of?
That's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
If anything, personally, I would say possibly the 40s. And the only
Yeah.
reason I say that is because regardless of what was occurring at the time, obviously there was war,
Right.
World War, and millions of people were having some terrible things occur. There was, in the United States, a camaraderie of people
Yeah.
who did not see themselves as anything else other than Americans. And it's something that regardless of political affiliation, everybody just saw themselves as their fellow American,
Right.
which is something that I think is lacking right now. I just, I see everyone as an American.
Yeah.
It does not. I don't care political affiliations or anything. Everybody's an
Yeah,
American.
just be an American and be kind.
Exactly. To see that people have differences and to admire those differences based upon the
Right.
fact that that's what our country is built on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's the melting pot.
Yeah,
It's a great melting pot for a purpose.
that's pretty cool.
So we're not all meant to be the same.
Right.
We're all meant to be different, but to be the same as Americans. So.
Amen. Dan, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and
Oh, no
sharing a bit of
problem.
your story and your background. We wish you best of luck with Firestorm Gear, and keep going forward.
I truly appreciate it, Matt, and thank you so much for Main Street Medina. We could not be where we are without you guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.